Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. What's the Gray here? This is episode 10 for the Shadows of Darkain. Now, every 10 or so episodes, possibly 5 at times, I will be changing the rules used in this campaign to kind of change things up and to keep things fresh. So, I've decided to go with Dungeon World, which I've recently found. It was between that and Knave, too, but I went with Dungeon World because of its 2d6 system. So, we might use Knave for episode 20. However, with Dungeon World, there are these play sheets for each character. It's a class system. So I've migrated all the stats for each character, for Ellis as the fighter, for Red as the thief, Clovis as the wizard, and Jules as the ranger. The wizard, per these four, has the most pages because of the spells on these last two pages. Now, the game is light on the rules, but there are a few things to consider, at least from what I've seen. And because of that, I will be using the rules lightly. I will not be using every move or mechanic in the game, but I will be doing my best to refer to the characters as much as possible because there are more ability scores now. We have strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charm, and charisma. We have hit points, we have a damage die, we have armor. So kind of similar to Maze Rats, though there's 3 more ability scores. There's starting moves. Again, there's a damage die compared to the attack roll damage combination that Maze Rat sports. So we'll do our best to follow the rules. I've promoted the characters all to level 2 to follow the leveling system I'll be going in this campaign. So if we reach level 3 or 4 by season or episode 20 for Knave, if that is the engine I will use, then I will level them up to level 3 when I transfer their data to the new character sheets. But nevertheless, the only really big difference here, besides the character sheets, is, aside from the wizard, is the ranger. He has a companion. So he has a hawk named Ravis. And that will be kind of cumbersome for me to handle in story. So I have a feeling Ravis will be spawned magically or by some means or hawk. The hawk just kind of follows or is perched on Jules' shoulder at times, but it is an animal companion. So do forgive me ahead of time if I forget completely about Ravis. But Ravis is basically just a scout. He doesn't necessarily attack per the choices I selected for him. But that's the real complication here, besides handling a whole new engine. But again, I'm doing this to challenge myself and to keep things fresh for the story. So, the oracle for this one will not be the cards. It will be one-page Mythic. I have that. We're back to that right here. And I have held down to the old character sheets from Maze Rats just in case as a failsafe. But I have a feeling that Dungeon World will be adequate for this. So, back to the campaign itself. Where do we leave off? In session 9, episode 9, it was notable that Captain Waverly was far too drunk to really talk to. So we'll either come back later, because we did leave, or we follow this potential lead with Red and try to find the city guard that he spoke to earlier. We never got a name off this city guard, but this city guard was in the neutral as far as letting Red do what he did, but with a precaution, with a warning. So I think this city guard might be a potential ally we can find. We just have to find him, per se. So, we are currently outside the Waverly's house. And as time flew by, it is the next day from, it was morning from the last time we left off, so now I'm going to say it is still the morning hours. And we decided to go scout for the individual captain or the city guard that Red spoke to earlier. Now, Red has Red knows of this guard's appearance, not the name, but his details. So we're going to use our little friend Ravis for this. So Red inquires about Ravis to Jules. So Jules will use Ravis to circle the city and find this guard specific to details that Ravis will provide. I'm sorry, that Red will provide the Jules. Searching for the guard. I'm going to say searching for Red's guard. That'll be the keyword for this guard we're looking for. We'll call him Red's guard until we actually get a name for this character. Because most likely it will be an NPC we'll be adding to our collection at the bottom here. Now, with that in mind, the move itself is just simply an animal companion. Narratively, we're going to say, okay, so Jules summons his hawk, Ravis, and it lands on his arm. Now, Jules has ranger clothing. He mainly has a cape, he has a hood, so he has a cloak and light armor. And it lands on this little grip he has, this cloth on his hands. And he basically either thinks or tells the animal companion, Ravis, to look for a city guard based on what Red just described to us. So the hawk takes off, flies into the sky, and starts circling the area. I'd say probably just focusing on the center market at the moment. So we're just near the center market, a few feet away from Captain Waverly's house, and we watch as the hawk flies off and starts circling the area looking for the Red's guard. Now, Red, or I should say Ellis, the fighter, will take lead now. He thanks Red for the suggestion. He says using Ravis is a pretty good move. That will give us basically some time to look for this guard ourselves. So we basically have two areas covered. We have the whole city, and we have our own eye. We have the team itself. So Ellis will take lead, but with Red nearby, as they stand side by side, scouring, looking through the center market. As they are looking through the center market, they do find something of interest. And let's roll to see what it is they find based on the Mythic chart. So they find 95, which is going to be something really strange. Sorry, I'm going to keep rolling in there. We go 76. Strange and powerful. So it has been quite some time since we had an attack. And because we fought off Lore, it's assumed that Lore or any of the supposed Darkain cultists have to be nearby the city to really make an attack happen. So, in the back of our minds, the team knows that for now the city is protected, is out of harm's way for now. But with this roll, for something that is strange and powerful, is it going to be another attack? I'm going to say unlikely. 22 looks like. That means it is going to be another attack, but it's a weak attack. So, what happens here is that we are going to have an encounter of sorts, but it's going to be using the Dungeon World method where it is narrative driven. So this will be a good little test for us to use the Dungeon World method of combat. So while the hawk Ravis is scouring the sky looking for this guard, we get sidetracked by an attack. I think it's not necessarily going to be a creature related to Darkain, because if that roll would have been lower, like an extreme yes, then it would have been a Darkain related incident. I believe it's going to be a low-level street thief causing trouble with the guard, perhaps. So we see a few bandits trying to rob, let's see, what was his name? Stoker himself. So, three bandits robbing Stoker. Remember, Stoker is a just a nice, helpless old man, and now there are three low-level bandits attempting to rob Stoker. The team sees this. Instantly, we take action and we run up. Ellis takes lead. He takes point. He runs up, pulls out his. Now there's kind of new weapons with this game. He has a short sword, chainmail, and a shield. Everything else is per the game rules, and I did carry over. I did carry over any quest related items like the blue jewel. So we still have Ravis in the sky, so Ravis cannot be used for anything. Ravis is on a task to search for the guard, the red guard, and the fighter jumps in the way, pushes the bandits as they were trying to grab Stoker. Stoker was being stubborn and holding on to maybe a sack of items, and then fighter Ellis jumps and elbows, bumps one of the bandits out of the side, and I don't think that's going to be a roll required. He pulls out his sword and tells them to step back if you know what's good for you. Now, will the bandits attack? If they're low-level bandits, I don't think they want any trouble with a big fighter as such as Ellis. So basically, I'm going to say unlikely will they attack. 94. They don't. That is a that's an exceptional no. They chicken out. They're backing up in fear, and they see the four. They see Ellis mainly is in front of Stoker with his sword drawn and shields equipped, looking at them with a battle-determined face. The other three are kind of nearby in a battle formation, doing their usual poses. And Stoker smiles, looks over Ellis's shoulder, nodding like, "Yeah, you messed the wrong crew." The bandits chicken out. They bump into each other like clumsy oxes, and then they bolt and they run off. And we can see there is city guard who were just observing, and then they start to chase the bandits out. So the bandits they escape or they flee. We let them go, and there are two guards that chase after them. Okay, so while those guards are handling that, I'm gonna see if Red spots any of those two guards where the one is the one he spoke to prior, the Red's guard. So let's see if he will be able to tell. This will be a kind of a perception check, so I'm going to use, let's say, what would be tied to perception? I'm going to use wisdom for this one. So there is no modifier for it. This is just a flat roll. There's no moves we can do related to. Yeah, he has a shoot first advanced move because he's level 2. That's the first level. When you bump up to level 2, you can choose one of these advanced moves. But there's nothing really necessary for this next move. So we're just going to roll basically for the system. So 8. He can't see the guards turn around and running, but he doesn't recognize the back of them. He can see them. This roll says that we can mostly see the guards running from the distance, but he can't tell. He didn't catch their face, basically. So that is the setback. He knows that they're guards, but he does not recognize either of them. So Red tells Ellis, he says, "I don't think that was the guard I met earlier." And so Ellis puts his sword away. Well, quite. And he turns around and speaks to Stoker, and he asks Stoker if he's okay. Stoker nods his head, "Yes, I'm fine." Ellis inquires when. Well, Ellis is kind of concerned here because this is more early morning, and bandits out in the open like this is probably not too common in the streets. I think maybe at night more so, but I believe that the bandits weren't just robbing him for the goods. So he says, were the bandits just were robbing you for your wares, for your gold? And let's roll for this. Were the bandits just robbing Stoker for the gold? I'm going to say 50-50. I just don't really know. 23. They were. Okay, so these are just everyday bandits. They're just trying to get the gold. So this is not really a significant plot point. But overall, we garner more respect from Stoker. And Stoker's like, it's like, thanks again, heroes. You two, you fall really come at the convenient as most times. And he offers them some gold and payment, and then Ellis says, no, oh, please. But Clovis, now there are bonds here in this game. So Ellis is it's kind of the anchor for the entire team. I have them all somehow tied to Ellis. I think he's helped them in some way in their past. But for Clovis, it's a rivalry. So perhaps they're childhood friends and they've always had this bitter rivalry, like again the Goku and Vegeta complex. So Clovis walks up and says, I wouldn't mind taking some reward if you could. And Clovis Ellis looks to Clovis, kind of a disapproving look. Clovis ignores it, and Stoker, he says, "Oh yes, of course," and he gives Stoker 10 gold. So I'm sorry, he gives Clovis 10 gold, 10 coins, as this game kind of labels it as. So Clovis is kind of making a good living here. So he has 10 coins at the moment. Now, as the bandits are either captured or flee, we're really not too worried about that. That didn't exactly pan out in any way. So the team are standing there speaking to Stoker. Let's roll to see if Ravis, the bird, the hawk, has found anything yet. I'm going to say likely. 88, not yet. So we'll do a Ravis check every so often. That's a no. It's kind of a strong no too. If you're picturing this as a movie, we cut to the hawk flying in the sky, and he's using some form of super sight to look down, and he's not exactly seeing anything yet. I'm going to say the sky conditions are relatively clear, so it's a nice day out. Now, Jules looks up, and he's attempting to see if he can spot, and he sees Ravis in the distance circling maybe the northern part of the city, so he has his eyes on him. Ella says, let's keep looking for Red's god, see if we can find him on the floor, on the ground somewhere. So they start looking around the center market, keeping their eyes open. And let's roll a check for the fighter, for Ellis, to see if he can spot anything. This will be no bonus. 7, that actually is a yes. So he spots Captain, let's see, what was his name? Not the captain, actually. He spots Commander Fisk walking, let's say he's walking out of the castle doors, the castle entrance, the wall, the gate itself. And he turns to the right, but it's just for a brief moment. Remember, the entrance to his secret door is to the west. He's actually going east now. So Ellis barely spots it, but he disappears behind some bushes in the distance. So Ellis tells his team, I think I just saw the commander himself. And everyone's kind of confused because Commander usually doesn't leave the castle until noon to actually go on that side entrance to do whatever he does. Now Ellis thinks that they should go follow him, so Ellis is going to pursue. Let's say we saw Commander Fisk. Red says, did you see anyone else with him? And was there anyone else with Commander Fisk? I'm going to say unlikely. 27. There was actually someone with him, and though we were not able to see who it was, he saw 2 bodies, but he saw more notably Commander Fisk, but someone a little shorter, though didn't recognize him. So there was 2 people. There's two people walking in total. So now the team is going to follow who Ellis believes is Commander Fisk, because it's a very tall gentleman, very well, elegant dressed, shining armor, etc. The best of the best appearance possible. and they follow them. They're walking through the crowd of the market, kind of unknowingly bumping into people as they're just beelining it towards the path of where they saw. And they approach the garden that's in front of the castle. It's this big, nice garden. It's just kind of like a well-maintained, beautiful garden with flowers, and there's trees. There's workers watering the plants and flowers, etc. And so Ellis stops because he sees the royal guard that is usually perched, or they're positioned, what do you call it, posted in the two posts in front of the main gate. And he knows he's had the run in earlier. So the guards look at him, but they don't do anything. They just kind of set eyes on the team. The team stops and they turn to the right, and they walk to the right because they believe Ellis believes that's where the um, Commander Fisk and the other person went. So the team is walking to the right. They're walking around the garden, trying to power walk, not suspiciously jogging, but they're trying to walk briskly just enough to stay out of without gaining any attention. Now let's roll for this. Are they able to do this stealthily? I'm going to use probably. Let's use the thief's dexterity for this as a team effort. So +2 on this roll. Oh, that is perfect. I'm going to use this to also affect the narrative. So +2, that's a 12. I'm sorry, 13 total. No, that's see, 11. Yeah, 12, 13. So the team is able to stay out of sight for the front guard, the royal guards outside the main gate. The royal guards look, but they don't really keep their eyes on the team. They get behind some plants and they start walking a little faster around the garden. And they see the commander himself talking to who appears to be Captain. I almost forgot his name. Hitharion. So Captain Hitharion is talking with the commander, and they look to be rather mysterious. They are talking just on the side of the castle walls that neighbors an alleyway. So let me write this down. It is indeed Captain Waverly. So Fisk is talking with not Waverly, Hitharion. And that is very concerning. So the team stays out of sight. I think Reddy's going to take the lead, and he's going to say, "I'm going to try to get closer to see what they're talking about," because this is very unusual to see the commander out in the wild like this. Now the team stands behind a large tree, out of sight. They just act casual. Red is going to go up ahead. I'm still keeping this roll in mind. He darts behind an alleyway closer to Commander Fisk and Captain Hitharion. Now, let's see how long those two chat for. I'm going to do minutes with the single die, with the 10 die. So a good 9 minutes they talk, and they seem to be having a shouting match almost. Commander is pointing and poking Hitharion in the chest, like his armor. He's commanding him. He's really talking down to him, and Hitharion is resisting, getting angry, retaliating. He's just taking it, and then Red peeks out, and he's trying to listen in. So let's roll for that. That will be a plus. There is no bonus for this, so this is a flat roll. Okay, not bad. 6, 7, 8. So Red is eavesdropping. And he's able 6, 7, 8. So let's roll to see what he can hear. Let's do 2 descriptors. 59. Mundane. 88. Rustic. So, okay, so I think Rustic. I'm gonna re-roll that one. Rustic, I'm not too sure about that one. 91 again? Small. Okay, something small and mundane. Let's see, what would that be contextually? I believe with everything that's been going on, it has to do with the amount of royal guards posted at the door on the west side. So he's somehow Commander Fisk found out about one of the guards stepped out of his post to investigate the very moment that Red made that noise. So it's actually inadvertently related to Red's earlier situation. So he's telling the captain that he needs more men posted at that side. So it seems that the captain, the newly assigned captain, has more responsibility to have guards under his supervision, part of the royal guard now. And so I think that's what they're saying. I'm trying to think what makes sense here, because the captain is being spoken down to. Let's figure this out together. So Red's eavesdropping, and I think here's what it is. It's not for the entrance. It's for the amount of guards that he needs, the city guard. He believes that they don't have enough men posted around the city, and he's saying that the city has seen an increase in crimes, simple stuff, just simple data like statistics. Or there's been more reported crimes. There's been and the bandits from earlier kind of proves that. Like he says that we just had a bandits attacking the merchants in the main yard. So it's basically just about staffing issues. That's how I'm seeing it. But for some reason, he's really shouting. That makes it a little easier for Red to pick up on, but Red doesn't pick up on all the details because of the 6, 7, 8 roll, which is a mid-range light. But because it is considered a partial roll, Red hears a cat meow, and he looks around for a second, and he's thinking, okay, like, it's an alleyway, cats are common, so maybe he briefly looks aside, but he ignores it. But as he looks aside, he sees the same red cat in the distance that he ran into earlier the other day in the alleyway. So that red cat is kind of sitting looking at him, with his tail kind of moving casually in the other side of the alley. And Red is confused. And as he looks at it, the cat gets up and runs off. And he takes note of this. So the red cat is a strange sighting. Now he looks back, and then suddenly the commander and the captain are gone. The cat distracted him for a moment, and the captain and the commander walked away. But suddenly, the captain walks by Red. Now, does the captain recognize Red, or see Red in the alleyway? I'm going to say 50-50. Ooh, he does. Okay, so this is good. Okay, so here's what happens. Session 10 continued. After eavesdropping on the two speaking about guard-related stuff, nothing really that important. He was hoping to catch something, but I think that roll, maybe Red missed some vital details. He only caught part of the conversation about, we need more men on the streets, there's an uptick in crime, monsters are attacking, blah, 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 do your job. And the captain is furious. Now, the captain himself, we know that he is cryptic, bitter, and slimeball. So Red is looking back at the cat, and then he turns around and he sees the captain just staring at him, walking, surprised to see him. So this is a big moment here. So Therian notices Red in the alley. And let's see how he responds. I'm kind of curious what the Oracle will say here, because let's do for action descriptor. 60. Okay, so we have help, Okay. Oh, you know what? I don't think the Hertharian knows this guy. 58. So help, help, and then 58. Modern help. Okay. So the captain stops and he looks to Red. I don't believe Hitharian knows Red's appearance, but he knows that he knows of the four. I don't think they've met before. I can't remember narratively if they have. I don't think so. But he knows of the four, who is the team, our team. They've been kind of unofficially referred to as the four, the big four. Like I think that's probably the best way to put it. So he sees and he looks to it and then he crosses his arms and he turns to Red and he says, "Is there something I can help you with, citizen?" And he says that with his what's his voice, cryptic voice, but he coughs. He says, "Can I help you with something, citizen? You seem lost." Coughs and clears his throat. And Red is going to have to lie here. Red says, well, how would Red lie here? Because we know Red is a kind of a, let's see. I'm thinking he is going to lie here. So Red says that he was looking for his cat and he's lost it. He thinks that he saw it run down this alley. So we're gonna do a lie roll here. Charisma 0, so that's obviously no. I'm sorry, that's the fighter. He has a +1 on this roll. 6, 7. Okay, so he says he says that he's looking for his cat, and he saw it down this alley. He heard a meow. He lost it earlier today. They got out of the house. The guard, the captain, suspicious, but does kind of believe him. He's like, a cat? All right, I'll let the gods know. And he laughs, and then he walks away like it's some. He's like it's some big concern for him. And so I think, but now the captain knows of Red's appearance, and I think he's suspicious of him, but he ignores it. That's how I perceive that role. The setback will be that now the captain knows what Red looks like. And if Red is seen with the team, it might become a problem. So the captain knows of Red's suspicion. Okay. Now the captain walks by, and the three are standing there waiting for Red. They're standing together. The captain stops and sees the three. He says, and he mainly notices Ellis. He says, "Ah, look who it is! What a coincidence! You three just kind of hanging around here. What trouble? You're not starting any trouble, are you?" As he's asking. Ellis says, "No, we're just waiting for a friend." And that's where the captain, because they don't know the captain just saw Red. The captain looks back, and he sees Red leaving the alleyway casually, looking at the captain, just kind of walking out. And then he looks back at the team, and he goes, quite interesting. He goes, quite interesting indeed. I believe I found your friend. He points to Red, and Ellis looks over and sees Red. Red looks down a bit. It kind of a line of guilt. Red walks up to the team, and Ellis says to Red, "Ah, my friend, did you find what you need to look? Did you find what you needed?" That does kind of make sense. I think he doesn't know he's looking for. His excuse was looking for a cat, but I believe that the fighter Ellis just kind of naturally knows just his street smarts, or how you see it. He knows that Red was looking for something, and that was information from the captain. And they're kind of doing a masked conversation here. Red says, he tells Ellis, "Yes, I did find I did find. I think I know where my cat, but it got away." Or he says, "I did find my cat, but it got away, unfortunately. I was only able to see him for a second." And the captain, let's see how he reacts to all this. He's going to, let's see, 14 character. Okay, so it's in character. 11. Cold. Ooh, okay, so the captain, he's getting a little doubtful here. He's like, he tells the team, "You think I'm stupid, do you? You think you're looking for a cat in the alleyway? Why don't I take you in hall for questioning? How's that?" And then he shows his sword, he shows his weapons, like he moves his robe out of the way, and now things are getting tense. So the captain is suspicious of the team because of not really Red's fuck up, but it was more so, pardon my language, but it was more so just the bad timing of things. The captain leaves, saw Red. Red kind of had a mundane excuse, and he did kind of pardon it, but still kept it in mind. Then he sees the team kind of hiding out behind some trees, and he connects the dots. Yeah, there's a row. There's a thief. There's a thief in this alleyway looking for a cat, and the three just happen to be here. So obviously he connects the dots. He's not stupid. He knows this before. So Ellis, trying to think quick on his feet here, and also me as the GM trying to think quick on my feet here. What would most likely happen here? So let's roll for it. I'm thinking that the only real best way to calm things down here is the wizard. So let's see what the wizard can do. Let's check out his magic. I don't think we're doing anything as an attack, but oh, you know what? I forgot to check one of the advanced moves when I got promoted. Let's see what to do. Where's my there it is. So advanced moves. Let's see. Counterspell, arcane word, arcane ward. Let's do logical. So when you use strict deduction to analyze your surroundings, you can discern realities with intelligence instead of wisdom. Okay, so let's do that. We're going to try, Clovis is going to try to do something really quick here. And the only real setback here of what I have in mind is the cat situation. However, I believe this is going to be a very interesting moment. So, trying to connect the dots here because there's some threads that I want to weave together. We have the cat who's red. We have the phoenix that's missing from now. That could actually work out. So there is Orchid, the Orchid situation. Orchid is missing a pet. Does the captain know? It's very unlikely. I'm gonna have to roll for that. We can lie here and say Ellis thinks either Ellis or the wizard. Let's have the wizard do a quick check of the area with the bonus of using intelligence, which is +2. So he's going to try to quickly look around for anything. That's a 5, 6, 7. So barely able to get away with it. And let's roll to see what he finds. So the captain's threatened to bring them in for questioning, for suspicion of public behavior. And let's see what Clovis just does a quick glance around to see if there's anything that can help in this situation. We're going to roll for it. 18. Competition. 97? 91. Something small that's competitive. Interesting. Okay, so competition's small. So this is small. What would be in a marketplace that's small and competitive? The bandits are being captured. Oh, I know. The bandits that ran off earlier are actually causing trouble for the two guards. And we know the guards in general have been kind of incompetent, not well staffed, not trained well, undertrained, stuff like that. So Clovis looks back and he sees the bandits, the three bandits, uh, in the distance causing trouble. Causing trouble for the two guards. And I think, let's see. Clovis points to the bandits. He says, "Captain, it looks." He says, "My Captain, looks like your two guards are having trouble with the bandits we dealt with earlier." And then the captain looks, and he's oh shit. He runs past the team, but he looks back and points to us, and he tells us to stay right there. Don't you move. Don't you team move. I have more questions for you. As he runs off with the dark cryptic voice. Just picture his voice. just it's just hard to do sometimes. He goes, "Don't you team move. Don't you fall move. You stay right there. I'll deal with this, and I'll have questions for you all." So he runs off and he deals with that. Now, Jules, let's roll to see if the hawk, Ravis, has spotted anything. I'm going to say very likely at this point. 70. That is a yes, though it is a weak yes. So the Ravis, the bird, swoops back down. Ravis returns. And our ranger can talk to animals. That is one of the advanced moves I chose, I think. Yep, wild empathy, can understand and talk to animals. So that is definitely one of the traits. So Ravis, I'm gonna put it in quotations here, or parentheses. Let's see, the hawk. He lands on Jules' hand, and just kind of squeaks or chirps or however whatever it does. And Jules says, "I think Ravis found our guy." He says, "It's the bandit that's dealing with, or it's one of the gods dealing with the bandits." So this does kind of complicate things because coincidentally, it is one of the guards that we tried to look at earlier but couldn't tell, and it turns out it is. So Red's guard, as I've been calling him, is one of the is the guard, or I should say, is one of the guards dealing with the bandits. So does the captain manage to help out restrain the bandits? I'm going to say very likely. He is pretty brutal, very likely. Oh, that's a no. The captain does jump in there, but one of the bandits pulls out a dagger and stabs the captain in the stomach. And the captain walks back and stumbles a bit as he has a knife or a dagger stuck in the stomach. The guards get a little frustrated, and they try to swipe their swords at the bandits, but the bandits dodge. So now I think it's our turn to help. The captain is injured, and now we're in combat. So we got two bandits. I think this picture did work out. I had this one on standby for you guys because I knew it was going to work out here. So let's get a little closer into the camera so you guys can see it. All right. So we have two bandits and two guards and the injured captain. Now our team. Let's position ourselves here. We are right here, kind of talking to each other. The guards are going to have health of 4 each. They are right here near the market, dealing with these two. I'm going to say these are, let's say, sixes. And the captain is going to be a certain die. He's going to be a red because he's been, actually, you know what? Let me give him a different dice. I'm thinking that he actually is going to be an odd color. Not a specific white or black or red or blue, but he's a neutral character right now. He's kind of an antagonist, but not really. He'll be a special case. I'm gonna give him a die of a D6 gold. It'll be gold. He's the wild card here. So he is injured, so I'm gonna give him 4 or 5, kind of an odd number, right here. Okay, so we rush in as they're struggling. Ellis runs by the captain, kind of ignoring him, and jumps and backstabs, while the other team circle around like this. The Ellis will strike the bandits who struck the captain first, so we're going to make an attack move, doing this narratively, okay, with our attack die after the roll. So basically 7 through 9 is a hit, but the enemy can strike back with their own attack roll. 10 plus is a success, it's a hit. 6 under, it's a miss. Most likely, it's basically one roll for the entire round. I think a 6 or less is damage taken against our hero. We do get to use our modifiers, though, in combat. So we have a +2 on strength. Here we go. That is going to be just suitable enough. So that's 9, which means they can attack, but it'll be a low roll. So 9 is going to be a damage die. The fighter's damage die is a D10, which is very good. So how much does he hurt the bandit? 7. Okay, so that kills the bandit, but while the bandit's attacking, we'll give the bandit a D4. He has another dagger. While he collapses, he tries to strike our character, but it'll be half damage whatever the roll is. It's a 1, so it's ineffective. He misses, collapses, and he's out. Maybe I need to give more health to our character, to the villains here. Keeping that in mind, I'm still kind of working on Maze Rat's logic here. So now he's dead. The other bandit shouts. He just shouts the bandit's name, and then he attempts to strike Ellis's retaliation. Let's roll for him, or let's see if Ellis can dodge. This roll does kind of represent both sides, both combatants. So dexterity is +1 if he can parry. 6, that's a 7. He's going to dodge, but it's going to be half damage. So D4. That is going to be oh, that's a 4. Okay, so that's 4 damage minus 3 armor. That's 1 hit. So he takes just a knife to the shoulder, kind of scrapes him. He blocks it, or he does get minorly injured. Now it's going to be let's give the next move to, I think, the thief. So Jewel or Red will use his short or a ranged bow to fire an arrow at the remaining bandit. So let's see if that hits. His damage die is 8. 6 plus dexterity, so 7, 8. That is a hit, but it's only half damage. That's how I'm gonna perceive it, because he's from a range. He can't exactly fight back. So damage die a D8, which is right over. Let's get these guys out of here. Where's my D8 at? There it is. Okay, so D8. Half damage is 3, so he's down to 3. The bandit steps back. No, he's outmatched now, but he is ruthless, so I'm not going to do a morale roll. He's going to jump into this booth here, and there is a vendor who's kind of hiding. He takes the vendor hostage and gives us a level 1 with a knife at the vendor's neck. The merchant. He's shouting, "Don't get any closer, or this bastard gets it." Now, is this Stoker? I doubt it. Stoker's probably off to the side somewhere. But I'm going to say very unlikely it's Stoker. 21. Shoot, it is Stoker. Stoker is just, once again... Actually, no, that doesn't make sense, because they ran away. No, I'm sorry. I'm going to withdraw that roll. Stoker is somewhere in the distance because the bandits ran. So I think Stoker is further up north, or well, in perspective of this map. That doesn't make sense. I'm gonna say it is just another merchant. So again, I apologize. I'm gonna not consider that role, but it's just a merchant. So now we have a hostage situation. The captain is bleeding out, so he's down to 4. He takes a step back, and then the only real person who has a ranged item is a thief. Ellis looks to Dread, looks to Red. He says, "Can you stop?" He's like, "Shoot now!" He shouts, or no, I'm sorry, he doesn't shout. He goes, he just fire the arrow, trying to like be secret about it. And then the bandit is getting really anxious with the knife is digging deep into the merchant's neck. Um, Clovis can't do much. Well, what can Clovis do actually? I'm wondering. So first level spells: detect magic, invisibility. He can't do that because he's in broad daylight. If he doesn't go invisible, the bandit most likely will see him. Telepathy, can't touch him. Magic missile, that might work. Let's give Clovis a move here. So he's going to use magic missile, and we'll roll for it. Though it's kind of risky. So he starts to conjure the magic up. Ellis shouts, "No, don't! It's too risky!" Clovis does it anyways. So he's going to fire it with a plus, I think it's wisdom? Or intelligence. I'm going to say wisdom for this one. Cast a spell. No, it's intelligence. So on a 10 plus, the spell is successful. On a 7 through 9, the spell is cast, but choose one. Let's see what happens. I'm really interested now. So intelligence, plus 2. Ooh, okay, we got lucky. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The spell is perfect. The magic missile is fired and hits the guy right in the face. And damage-wise, it is going to be 2d4, I think. Yep, 2d4 damage. So let's grab 2d4s. I don't have a second d4 blue, but that's okay. I'll just use a red. I'll keep it here distinct. So that is going to be 6 damage. He takes it, his face catches on fire, he's running around, he bumps into the wall, and then he's fully engulfed in flames, and he dies out right behind the booth. The vendor is panicking and runs off he just runs away, so he's out, but he saved them. So now the bandits are dead, and the captain is bleeding out. Now he's down to 3. Now here's an interesting part in this narrative that I'm going to try. So who has the? I'm looking for a certain item. Two healing potions. Okay, so Ellis turns around, doesn't exactly look like he's going to rush himself. He walks up to the captain and hands him a potion. The captain looks confused. He takes the potion and then he uncorks it and drinks it to heal himself. So we're down to 1 potions. He's kind of confused why he would help him, even though they was threatening to arrest him. So that's really it for the battle. So let's grab our notes here. We killed the 2 bandits, and helped the captain. I think we might have befriended him, even though he is the one I think he's the one who hired from earlier the pirate to steal the Phoenix. So the captain could be on an interesting gray zone here when it comes to his character in general. So he heals. We're done with the combat. He's looking concerned. He tosses the bottle aside. He feels better. He feels healed. He looks to Ellis and kind of nods in approval, but doesn't say anything. He tells the guards, "Men, let's head back." He says, "Men, this is done with. Pick up the bodies and let's dispose of them properly." And they walk away. So the captain, the guards leave with the bodies. Obviously we can't loot them. But one of the guards is the guard. And we can't really talk to the guard right now because he's with the captain. We're on a delicate floor, right? We're walking on glass right now. We're walking on shards of glass at this point, actually. On what's that phrase? Thin ice, because we helped the captain. We saved his life. He owes us one, but that ode is from earlier. He's not going to interrogate us, bring us in for questioning. He's not going to do that. He brushed it off. So that's water under the bridge. So he's back to kind of a neutral party. And the two guards are busy with the bodies. And let's see, does the captain walk away or does he supervise the roundup of the bandits? I'm going to say unlikely. I think he's going to walk away. 74. Does he walk away? Nope, he doesn't. He actually sticks around. He walks away from the team, but he's kind of supervising the guards from the bodies, making sure everyone's okay, and just kind of doing his job responsibly. So we stand there. We're looking at each other. We're not really sure what to do here because this is we're kind of in an odd position here. And Ellis is going to consider the few following options. So while they are taking care of the bodies, we can, the team, talk to the guard regarding the entrance, what he knows about it. That's really it. Our other option was to break into the castle, to break into that west entrance, which is the most riskiest move. But we could ask the captain, about, sorry guys, ask the captain about Darkain. That's two possibilities right there. But this might arouse more suspicion, or we can tell he's lying. So I think the fighter is going to walk up, not the fighter. I think a couple of options here. I'm just trying. I think let's actually use Ellis for this. Ellis is going to walk up to the captain, and he's going to ask him. He says, "Are you all right?" The captain looks. He says, "Yes, I'm fine. Thank you." Now, Ellis says, "I'm sorry, I know you guys appear busy, but I do have one question." The captain looks at him and says, "Ironic. I was about to ask your team some questions earlier, but I believe that has been resolved. And don't waste my time." And he says, "If you waste my time, I may reconsider." And Ellis is, again, this is very delicate. So he's going to say, I don't think it's going to be smart to mention Darkain, because if this guy has some suspicious relation to an antagonist of this campaign, whether it's Darkain or not, it might be a high-risk question, but I'm going to go for it. Here we go. Ellis asks the captain, "What do you know about Darkain and the cult itself?" The captain, let's see how he responds. I'm going to roll for this. We'll try two methods. We'll roll to the table. If it doesn't make sense, I'm going to roll on the oracle. Okay, he's going to 13. Let's see. Character, once again, that's been consistent for him. 54. Loud. He turns to Ellis in aggravation and says, "Did you say Darkain? Don't speak those words in the market, child." And the fighter steps back and he looks to his team, then back at the captain. He says, "So it's obvious you know who Darkain is." The captain says, "Yes, I know of that. I know of the legend of Darkain. But mentioning him in these grounds might cause some trouble for you." And Ellis actually sees an opportunity here, because let's roll to see if he can tell wisdom. I think it's wisdom or intelligence. I always get these two confused quite often. I can always look to the book. Let's go to Let's go to ability scores. Character creation is 47, FYI. So, let's see, we have... I don't think it's actually under that. Let's go to the index, which is the first table of contents here. Basic moves, playing the game. Let's try 15. Basic moves is 55 after that. Playing the game, bogus scores. Making moves. Alright, so 55. Let's see here. Alright, so not what I'm looking for. We're going to go to the index. Ability scores is 15, choosing 48. Okay. Yep. So 48. If I can't find it, I might. I thought there was a section. I remember there was. Yeah, that's back to. Okay, I'm going to say it is going to be wisdom for this one. I think intelligence is more for brain or smarts. Wisdom is more for just like, knowledge, street smarts. I'm going to use wisdom. I'll just toy with it from there. So he's going to try to tell. He's going to try to read the captain's face to see if he knows if he's hiding something or if he knows a lot more about Darkain than he's trying to show. Okay, so there is no bonus either way. So I guess for I didn't notice I had -1, so that's good. I used wisdom. So 7, 8. So he walks closer to the captain, trying to measure up. He says, "Captain, listen. We are trying to help the city of Riverport. We've already been pushed off the castle. We want to speak to Lord Balthazar, but that's clearly not going to be an option. Can we help? Is there a way we can help you at least? What do you know of Darkain?" And so the captain, he's debating it. I don't think he's going to push him off yet. He says, "Listen, we can't speak here about I'm sorry, let me do this voice. Listen, you four. I understand your concerns about Darkain, but we cannot speak about him here. If you wish to learn more, then follow me." He turns around and tells his guards, "Guards, finish up here. I have some things to take care of." He turns around and then kind of points with his hands, doing this. "Follow me, friends." Well, not friends. He's "Follow me, the four." And then he turns old-fashionedly and walks towards the castle. So we asked the captain. We took the riskiest move, but it seemed to work out. The captain is going to lead us to the castle. And as we're going to the castle, the royal guards, because here's the thing, here's how I see the current captain, Hitharion. He seems to have more authority compared to Captain Waverly, because Waverly was a coward, wasn't well trained, not exactly, kind of, out of his league. But this guy there seems to be more on his shoulders, and the commander himself, as we saw from Red's perspective, is taking this guy more seriously. So, we're walking with the team up to the royal guard at the front. The royal guard position themselves, put their spears close to them, and get into formation. And then suddenly we make a left. Our team look at each other, and we're like, "Oh no!" So Ellis asks the captain to walk. He says, "Where are we off to?" He says, "Where are we going?" The captain says, "You will see momentarily, my friends." And he continues walking. I'm sorry, doesn't say my friends. I keep saying that. He says, "You will see in a moment. Be patient." So he leads us to the West Gate. So we're at the West Gate now. And there are two royal guards. The captain, he stops and stands next to he looks at the royal guards and says, "These four are granted access to the west entrance. Allow us through. The royal guard look at each other, and they ask the captain, do these four have permission from the commander himself? The captain looks to Ellis, and remember, it's morning, it's not noon yet. He looks to Ellis and says, yes. The captain says to the royal guard, yes. I spoke to the commander earlier today. You probably saw how frustrated he was. We have permission to enter. Briefly. The royal guards look at each other, kind of doubting it, but they do then let him through. They stand aside, and one of them takes a key and unlocks the door. So we're getting in through a very unusual means. I think we did truly not befriend the captain, but from saving his life from earlier, after taking, a knife to the gut, which is deadly. I believe he's giving us a favor. He's allowing us to take part, or at least see what is going on. Okay, so now the door opens, and there's a deep staircase declining down into what appears to be a dungeon. So into a dungeon of sorts. It's obviously that it's underneath the castle itself, and there's torches lighting up the stairwell. The captain looks to the team and says, what you're about to see is not to have leave. He says, what you're about to see is of utmost secrecy and shall not leave these castle grounds. Do you understand? Ellis and the company are nodding their heads. They say, yes, we do. The royal guard are still a little iffy, but they probably they believe the captain, though I think they're gonna have second thoughts here shortly. So they enter, or no, I'm sorry, not second thoughts, but I believe like they deep down they feel like maybe they made a mistake. They entrust the captain too much, but perhaps they did hear about the argument that commander and the captain had earlier. So this is kind of like he's using that to his advantage. So right now the captain is, but remember, I'm sorry, there's so many elements here. The captain is the one responsible, as far as we know. I want to make sure I'm not getting my information mixed up here. Two pirates. Barstool Orchard has a rare phoenix. Red enters confused, sees aftermath. They want to interrogate the team. Well, this red feather belongs to the phoenix. We enter. We do interrogate him. Nearest guard. We gotta look for the part where the pirate's killed. The captain with royal guard killed the pirate. So yeah, the captain is the one. He says the pirate to the nearest guard. I remember that charge. He tries to stop. So the captain is the suspicious one here. So we're in a strange area right now. The captain is helping us, but there could be something happening in the shadows here. So we gotta be careful. The team enters the stairwell, and we walk downstairs. The team goes downstairs. The doors close behind us. And right now, we enter this large cavern. There are, not a cavern, it's a large dome-shaped room. And there's a table and a desk in the middle with bookshelves in the back. And there are several doors and prison cells on the sides. So I think what we found was the prison, what do you call it, the jail room. So it's a large dome room, and there's no one sitting at the desk. Right now the desk is empty. It's kind of like this. It's a shape like this. The stairwell. There's a doorway here. There's a door here, and there's a door here. There's a desk, like a reception's desk, and a table with bookshelves. been outlining the walls. Everything seems to be very aesthetically pleasing and organized, and there's a big red carpet right here. So I'll put carpet. Okay, that's what we see here. There's bookshelves. And there's royal guards posted here and here. So even guards downstairs. They're surrounding the room. The captain walks up to the table and sits down. He scoots the chair in. The royal guards look confused. They look back at each other and they ask the captain, "Captain, what are you doing here? It's not noon. It's not high noon." The team obviously understands that reference. They get it. So the royal guard question the captain. He is sitting there patiently. He says, he tells the royal guards, "Do not worry, we won't be here for long. Please, the four, approach the desk." So the team approaches the desk, and we're going to speak to the captain. He says, and I think right now it's probably it's like late morning hours. Let's say it's late morning. So it's almost noon, so it's kind of concerning. And I think Jules is going to, who would have the most insight on that? I think Jules, he should be in this position here, the thief. There we go. Jules kind of whispers to the fighter, "It's almost high noon. We should be concerned the commander might walk in." And the team does approach the captain at the desk. Ellis tells the captain, "I have a feeling that desk belongs to someone else, Captain." And the captain laughs. He looks at his chair. He puts his arms on the table. Yes, but that's not your concern. Now, you want to speak of Darkain." And the mention of Darkain, the royal guards look to each other, back and forth, like they turn their heads and back at the captain. The captain notices the guards getting a little antsy. The captain says, "You'll find the details you want about Darkain in the bookshelf behind me. Third book on the top row to the left." And the guards step forward, and they draw their spears. They say, "Captain, these four don't have jurisdiction on down here, let alone to read the materials of the commander himself." And the captain tries to calm down. He says, "Guards, I promise you, we are down here on official business." He tells the guards, "Guards, I will not say once more. We are down here at the orders of the commander himself. This is official business for Lord Balthazar, or for the commander." And I'm going to do a roll. Let's do the guards. Do the royal guards believe it? I'm going to say very unlikely. 20. Ooh, they do. Okay, so the royal guards hesitate, but they back off. So royal guards are suspicious, basically, at this point. And the captain leans back in his chair and he says, "You have 5 minutes, tops." Or he says, "You have 5 minutes. Take the book you need and read. And take the book, read it." And Ellis doesn't say anything. He walks up to the book. He walks the book that he mentions. So he walks up here, takes the book. It looks to be a book of rituals, an old book. It's old, so it shows rituals on it. There's markings on it, but it's locked. There's a little keyhole. There's a key lock on it. So he turns to the captain and says, "Is this the book you mean?" The captain turns around to Ellis and nods his head. "Yes. I never said you can open it, though. That key is in the hands of the commander himself." So we know the commander now has the key. We're pretty much in enemy territory right now, and things are getting really risky. And I think this is a form of retaliation. Remember, I don't think the captain is necessarily a good guy. I don't think he is evil. I believe he is the pet of the commander, and maybe that argument from earlier was the last straw. Though this guy, I think they have a high turn rate, high turn up rate um, for captains here. Waverly was a captain briefly. Now this guy probably something will happen to him because he's breaking the rules across the board if the commander sees him. So um, Ellis takes the book and shows the Clovis. Now Clovis does have, I think Clovis has an ability here to detect magic, and he shows the book to Ellis, or shows book to Clovis. Clovis gets a sense that the book is riddled with dark magic. He actually steps back in fear. He says, "Don't bring that closer to me, Ellis, if you know what's good for you." Captain leans forward and says, "Ah, a magic user. Wizard such as yourself knows that this book possesses very strange, unique powers." And he's actually smirking. So like he feels this astonishment for power because that is one of his traits. I think he is power hungry, a slime ball, cryptic, bitter, etc. So it's a power move. Not a power move. It's a power grab. Ellis looks to the captain. He says, "There's not much we can do with this book if we can't read it." The captain leans back. He laughs. Yes, he says, "Yes, like I said, you would have to get the key from the commander, but that's all I'm going to tell you." And again, the Royal Guard are hearing all of this. So they look back. The Royal Guard look at each other, and they step forward once again. They say, "Captain, this has gone long enough. This is clearly not within the commander's knowledge. You're here unauthorized, and we have to ask you to leave promptly." They pull their spears out. Now, the captain stands up. So let me write down. Guards threaten the team and the captain, and then this is section 10 continued. Okay, so we're downstairs in the west entrance, a dungeon. Dungeon. Let's say this. Dungeon underneath the castle. In a we're kind of in this entrance room. I'm not really sure what to call it, but it is basically it's a study. That's what I'm gonna call it. It's a study room. So the captain stands up and he looks to the wizard. Now the wizard can't do much here. And then he looks to Ellis and he tells Ellis, "Well, my friend," or not, I keep saying my friend. He's, "Well, four. It appears your time is up. I recommend you put the book back and leave this area once. I believe you should put the." I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to think. He basically says, he tells the team that the 5 minutes are up, and he recommends to put the book back right away. So Ellis kind of power walks to the shelf, puts the book back, and stands in front of the captain, looking at the guard. The team turns around. The guards have their spears drawn. They get closer and closer. The captain walks around the desk, and then he steps in front of the team, looks to the guards, and he says, "Men, stand down." The guards look at each other, kind of confused, and they said, "Captain, you do realize what you've done. You've betrayed the commander and his right. You went over his authority, and we must take you in. I'm sorry, but now you are under arrest." The spears close in, so the guards attempt to arrest the captain. Now, this will be a certain moment, but does the captain have anything up his sleeve to help him in this situation? I'm going to say very likely. Okay, 69, 69, very likely. He does, though it's very small. Now, he quickly pulls out an amulet, a necklace, he, and then he opens it up, and he reads a verse from it. So, the captain has a small necklace that's an amulet. He reads off a very small stricture off of it, and there's a large light that comes out of the amulet, and it's like a ray of light that hits both guards in the face. They drop their spears and step back against the walls, and then they stand like statues. They just stand there blindly looking at the captain. The captain says, he puts them in a trance. He tells them to forget what you've seen. Forget what you've seen. And let us leave. And they stand there, and they, both in this very cryptic voice that sounds similar to the captain, they say, "Yes, Commander Fisk, we will obey." And then he closes the necklace and puts it down his behind his armor. He turns to the team. The team is freaked out right now. The captain says, "I recommend you leave right now before I change my mind." In the lower voice, he's like, "I recommend you full leave before I change my mind." And we will leave. No doubt about it. So the team leaves. Ellis, though, questions the captain, pushing his patience. He says, he's about to walk out. He turns to the captain and says, "Why help us like this?" And the captain, let's see what he says. I'm actually curious to the Oracle what this meeting table will say. 83. PC. Oh, player character. 63. Natural. Ooh, okay, so it's something related to one of the player characters and it's natural. Oh, I know what it is. Okay, so I think there's some secrecy to the captain here. And he is obviously a collector of certain merchandise. The blue jewel. I think so. So basically the captain says, "The blue jewel you found earlier from the..." Okay, let's find out who has the blue jewel actually. I think it's the fighter. Yep. So, the captain walks up to to Ellis with it again, his hands are behind his back, like standing professionally. He says, "Well, you see, I'm an avid collector of powerful magical artifacts, and I believe, at least from what I can sense, you have one on your person. If you give it to me, I'll let you forego. If not, you'll be in one of the prison cells behind me, and arrested for treason, betraying of the Riverport city itself, the people of Riverport." And I think Ellis, look, the team hears this. They obviously know that Ellis is going to give it, so Ellis takes out the blue jewel and shows it to the captain. The blue jewel to the captain. So again, the captain's not a good guy, but I think in exchange for things, he will pay you back. Maybe there's a level of loyalty he has. So let's put that down here. He's a collector of powerful, let's say, ancient artifacts. Unfortunately, we won't be able to give that artifact to the rightful owner, the lady, Catherine. So, but we're using it to save our own hides here. So he gives the blue jewel to the captain. The captain looks at it. He looks at, analyzes it. He says, "Ah, yes. It's been some quite time since I've had my hands on this. Thank you. Now, leave this place and don't speak of it what you've seen in here, or I'll do the same to what I did to my gods. Do you understand?" Ellis nods and they leave. So the captain stays down there. The team leaves upstairs, and then the captain stays behind. So it's obviously aware that maybe the captain used the same necklace amulet that he has to apparently command individuals on possibly the pirate, or he just paid the pirate without giving away that he has some magical artifact. But nevertheless, I think that the captain wants the bird for some reason. Again, he's a collector, so maybe he's like the collector from the Marvel, the MC universe, possibly. But the fact he's the captain and he's only 40 years old, that does actually it creates a very intriguing character. So we leave. We're outside the west entrance. We're outside west entrance. The guards ignore us. They know we were down there supposedly for with permission. We leave. As we leave, the guards question us. He says, "Oi, you four, where's the captain?" And Ellis turns around and says, The captain decided to stay behind. I'm not sure why." The guards nod and say, "All right then, off with you," and then we leave. So we're out of the area. We're now going to be in the garden of the castle. I'd say the castle's garden itself. Okay, so we're out there. The team is discussing what they will do next. Next plan. So here's what happened. Here's what transpired in this episode, or at least recently. We know the captain is fishy, or he's very suspicious. He's a very shady character, but he's working on his own. He's working on something in his own terms. He's not. I don't think he has much relation to what's transpiring for the Darkain situation. But he's obviously there's something going on down there, and we weren't able to see everything. We saw the book, but the book was locked. The commander has the key, so we need to get that book and get the key from somehow for the commander. But we haven't ran into the commander yet. I doubt it, very unlikely, but if the commander outside right now, 58. He's not. Okay, so here's where we're going to leave off this session. The next episode, session 11. The book needs a key. The commander has it. It seems that the captain was retaliating against his superior and giving us a tool to take the commander down. The captain has his own agenda. It's his own agenda. We don't know what yet. We don't know what. And he wants the Phoenix. So, we saw the dungeon. The first room of this large dungeon is underneath the castle. We can also go talk to Lord Balthazar. The team is thinking that we can talk to Lord Balthazar, perhaps the commander is downstairs in a half-an-hour interval. But the only other issue is the captain himself. Maybe the captain will be back upstairs on the floor, and he'll see us. I think the captain's very unpredictable at this point. Let's add that to his trait. He's very unpredictable. Okay, and then Lord Balthazar at noon. Underline that. Okay, so that's what we're gonna leave off for this episode. This episode was, I believe, as always, I do my end of episode recap. I thought this was fantastic. It was really like a roller coaster ride. We had a counter. We had one combat encounter. Pretty simple. We had a couple of interesting points in the story and a discovery downstairs about that book, which is really intriguing. So, what connections does the dungeon, the commander, and the captain have to Darkain? That's the real mystery here. So, I believe as this is unfolding that the whole Shadows of Darkain might be an isolated incident strictly to Riverport. So, and we haven't seen Lore for a while. So where's Lore? We have all these plots, these subplots that are almost getting out of hand. So I gotta figure out a way to keep things, constrict things and not let it go all over the place. So we'll see. Again, I think the campaign's growing, and I do like using. So far, I do like using Dungeon World and the engine itself. But for now, that's it for episode 10, and I'll see you guys next time for episode 11. Thanks for watching.